Morning, guys. This is important stuff we're going to do today. So, this is Bernie from B&D and Anna Lee and Samantha and Full-Time RV. And here's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I've had a lot of requests for this. Now, when we make RVs videos, we don't get the common remarks that a lot of people seem to get. We get remarks that are very complimentary. We get remarks that tell us what you want to do or you're going to do. We get remarks from people like Bill that have just retired and are getting ready to hit the road and set the countryside on fire with travel. We get a lot of questions. We have a lot of people that go to the Bible site and join us there that are on the road. And so one of the questions that I've been getting recently, and there's just been several times that I've gotten them, is how much does it cost to live in an RV? And there's a couple of answers to that. First of all, you need to take into consideration the price of the RV. What size you're going to have, what you're going to use it for. Now, a lot of people full-time RV, and they buy one, and they just leave it set, and they work through the week. Then on the weekends, fire it up and go somewhere. Come back Sunday night, go back to work Monday. That's full-time RVing. Most of the time when you hear full-time RVing, you're thinking of people driving around the country and saying this and saying that, and it's true that they do that. We did that, and we do that now. However, in the wintertime, we usually squat somewhere for the entire winter. We do that because it's much more convenient to do it that way. But if you purchase an RV, depending on your retirement income, whether you have a lot of cash or you have, like we do, Social Security plus a retirement income from a job that I worked at for a long time, you're going to be making payments unless you buy an older RV and pay cash for it, which is fine. Where we stop most of the time, there's RVs that are 20 years old. Old diesels that someone bought for $8,000 that only had 60,000 miles on them, or gas engines. We know that old diesels will run 300,000 miles if they're taken care of. A gas engine, even in a 30-foot RV, if it's taken care of, is going to run 150, 200, 300,000 miles, and I'm not kidding. The V10 that we have in this engine, I think probably on 3 occasions has been over 60 miles an hour because we're retired and we don't get in a hurry. But if you're making payments on it, it's going to be different than making not payments. It depends on your down payment. It depends on what your monthly payments are. I'm kind of checking notes here because I don't know how long this is going to be, and I want to cover all this. You don't know how much your payments are going to be until you get into it. And I'm going to share with you some of our personal expenses. Now, this RV, when it was new, was about $75,000. I paid, what did we pay, honey? $59,000 for it. Our payment on this RV is still cheaper than a house. It's $483 a month, and we finance it for 15 years. Doesn't hurt. When you park it, now, before I get there, let me say this. An apartment, if you retire and you move to Timbuktu and you rent an apartment, your apartment's going to cost you between $650 and $900 a month. Well, for that kind of money, that's not bad living. But if you buy an RV, let's see, we looked at a brand new 30-foot Ace which is an excellent RV. There was some problems with them when they first came out, but the quality now is very good. And I think probably I saw them for $79,000 and $69,000. You got a down payment, you're going to be paying less than $500 a month. Now, what we do in the wintertime, when the snowbirds come, our usual rent is around $375 to $400 a month. Well, you take that with a $500 payment, and you've got $900 a month. Our income is almost 4 times that with a retirement. So, let me go here and tell you this. If you're in cold weather, where there's snow, we would have to run our furnace and fill the propane tank about every 10 days. Is that right, honey?
About, yes.
About every 10 days. Propane usually costs between $2.50 and $3 a gallon. So that would run us $40 or so. Now, there's times, and what we did, or what we do actually, we find a place that has a big propane tank and go have it filled up. Because we found that if you have someone come and fill it for you, they add an extra $1 on there, sometimes $2. I paid as much as $4.50 for a gallon of propane. I didn't like that, so we found some place to go. Your refrigerator, a lot of times, will run off of propane, but mostly electricity. So we had that electricity cost. Now, in the winter, our electricity cost is negligible. It will be between $50 and $70 a month, which isn't bad. In the summertime, if you're sitting still in an RV park in the summertime, and you haven't gone where it's cool to the mountains, which is what we do, we've had an electricity bill as high as, I think it was $165 for 1 month. But the temperature was between 110 and 115 degrees. Now, let's talk about groceries. Groceries, depending on where you get them, of course, and my wife is a coupon saver, by the way. Also, when you shop at Fry's, which is Kroger's, when you shop at Fry's, you have a card where you get gas points. She'll save up and get 30 or 40 cents off a gallon on gas, and then we go fill the RV up in the winter. Even in the summer, if we're traveling and they have a Fry's, we will shop there and get the gas points. It all helps. Our groceries run between, I would say, $100 and $120 a week. So you're looking at $400 a month for groceries, or maybe a little more, depending on what you eat. When we're traveling, we have a decent breakfast. We will have, I have, and Donna does most of the time too, we'll have a cup of soup for lunch with crackers. I love soup. Or she'll eat a salad of some kind. And then chances are, a couple, 3 days a week, we're going to have a crock pot supper, which, as you know, is delicious with vegetables and meat. I've told you before that we set the crock pot in the sink and run the generator while we're driving, and by the time supper gets here, the food's done. Okay, for rent, electric, propane, and groceries, it runs between $940, $950 to $1,000, and maybe $1,140 to $1,170 a month. Now, that is including rent. However, if you're traveling, you don't have that $400 a month rent to pay. So you can take that money that you're using for rent, pay it, put it towards gas, and your travel bill is approximately the same, maybe within $100 or $200. As long as you don't go overboard, you're going to be fine. So far you're quite a ways below $2,000 a month, and most people that are traveling will have a pretty decent income. As I said, young people that full time in these, park them, go to work, come back to the RV, and on the weekends take off, whether they're in a trailer or a motorized unit. Okay, let's talk a little bit about gas, and maintenance is important. We try to deduct 4% of our net income for maintenance. Now, you don't always need it, but a set of tires for this thing that we're in cost about $1,500. A new generator costs $3,000. A repaired generator like we had done costs $400. So you have to set a little money aside and kind of have a kitty for emergencies. If you have a flat on the road and somebody comes out and puts your spare on, a lot of times your insurance is going to pay for that. Roadside assistance, they call it. But if they do that, you probably need to tell them to bring out a new tire. They'll put the new tire on and leave your spare where it is. Now, mileage. When we were coming out here, when we came across country, and when we're driving through the flatlands, as I call it, before you get into the mountains, we have averaged as much as 11 miles per gallon. This tank holds 55 gallons, so you're going to get 500 miles out of that anyway. But you're not going to be driving every day. In the mountains, we get 8 to 9 miles to the gallon. A lot of days, I mean, you just don't sit there and drive and drive and drive and drive. I mean, that's not the way it works. The way it works is you drive, I don't know, 100 or 200 or even 300 miles, and then you pull in someplace. And you can pull into an RV park if you like. I mean, it's up to the individual and how fat your wallet is. But what we do a lot of times is we'll take about 2 days on a parking lot somewhere, Walmart or a grocery store or something like that. And once a week, or sometimes twice a week, we'll pull into, say, a KOA. Spend 35 or 40 bucks, drain the tanks, check things, do the laundry, swim if it's the right weather, and just enjoy spending the day and the night there. And then, of course, we'll leave the next day. Or we pull into a state park. In a state park, it's cheaper, but you don't have laundry. However, there's no reason you can't do laundry before you get to the state park or when you leave. You can pull in someplace and do laundry, so it's cheaper. There's just a lot of things you can do to take it easy on your budget. Now they've got a thing called boondocking, and everybody knows what that is. There's no electricity, there's no water, there's no nothing. So in that case, you run your generator. And you use the water that you've got in your tank, sparingly. We always carry bottled water. We either buy it by the gallon, or we get those, what is it, honey, 24 packs? We get those 24 packs of water, and we use that for coffee, for iced tea, just drinking water. That helps us. We keep the tanks germ-free by adding maybe 1/8 of a cup of bleach when we fill them up, or you can buy these things that you just dump in, and it will keep your tank germ-free. But if you're running your generator, our generator is a 4,000 Onan, and it uses about a half a gallon an hour. When you're boondocking, of course, you may run the generator a little bit of an evening, and we don't watch television during that time because we got other things to do. And most of your RVs will have a radio up front, and they'll have speakers in the back, so we listen to the radio. But we do leave the lights on so that we can do one thing or another. And about dark, we go to bed. And I'm going to tell you right now, you will never, ever get a better night's sleep than sleeping in an RV boondocking where it's quiet and you know that you're safe. Now this has gone on for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up, but I've covered a lot of things. I want to tell you this from the heart. When we started this, we hardly knew what we were doing, and we kind of learned as we went, and you'll do the same thing. Those of you that are seasoned RVers will agree with a lot of that, and I'm sure you have a lot of your own things that you do. But I'm going to tell you, There's no greater way to live for us. It's not for everybody. I've told you before that if you guys don't get along at home, you're not going to get along in an RV. And square footage has nothing to do with it. Two of the happiest times of my life are at night just before I go to bed or go to sleep. I feel my wife's arm come around me. And in the morning when we get up, we sit together and have coffee and talk over the day. It's all about love. It's all about being together. It's all about seeing the country if that's what you want to do. It's all about independence. It's all about freedom. And that's another thing. I know this is stretching out a little bit, but there's word out that HUD is going to make it difficult, or illegal is the word that's used, for people to live full-time in RVs or camping trailers or tiny houses. That is never going to happen, in my estimation, and I'm going to tell you why. There are hundreds of thousands of people that are in RVs in this country. And the majority of them are making payments. And if this government sets it up to make it illegal to live in an RV, and all of these people call the bank and say, the government said it's now illegal for me to live in my RV, I'm going to give it back to you. Can you imagine the screaming that the bank would be doing at the federal government? So that's it for today, guys. I just wanted to share that with you, and this is the old timer just telling you how we do and how it is, and I think you'll find most of it to be true. So we love you guys. Thanks for subscribing, and we're just tickled to death to get every single comment. I got a comment yesterday from a lady, I think she lives in New Jersey, I'm not positive. 65 years old. She's single, is bored to death, and she's trying to make a decision on whether or not to full-time RV. And my advice to her is do what your heart tells you to do. Now you want to remember, in addition to Class A RVs, they got Class C RVs. If you're single and you don't need a whole great big gob of room, but you need a little bit of storage, you got a Class C RV. If you got the money, buy a Class A RV if that's what you want. But people do just fine in what they call Class B RVs. Those are those really large vans that are converted into an RV, and they're very beautiful, do a very good job. I have talked to many people that have truck campers that they sit on the back of a dually or a 3/4 ton truck, or if you want to pull a trailer. I mean, there's just multitude of ways to do it. So go for it, enjoy yourself. God bless you, and I'll see you the next time around.